Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Copy Corner with your host. I am Terry Schilling.
And I'm Dan Marzullo.
Yes, hello everyone. This is our corner of the internet where Dan and I like to share copywriting and marketing strategy tips to help you write and sell smarter. And today's topic, Dan, we're going to be covering how to turn your idea into a business and then how to launch it. And the reason we're talking about this today, Dan, is because you recently started a new product, new service. You showed it to me. I think it's a great idea. So we thought, why not break it down of how you thought of this idea? You know, what was like the minimal viable product that you could turn this into to get it launched quickly and make it profitable. So that's what we're going to talk about. So go ahead and, tell a little bit about, first out what the idea is, and then we'll kind of peel back a little bit and how you created it.
Yeah, sure thing, Terry. Yeah, so we recently kind of launched a niche service, right? This was something that our agency kind of provided kind of on and off casually to clients as they needed it, right? And just thought it would be really cool to kind of run with this idea. So what we're doing for this segment of the business is we're helping authors get booked on top podcasts as kind of a creative marketing channel, right? To talk about their new book, promote it, get it out there to new audiences. So that's kind of the new service that we're talking about today.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And, just real quickly too, we are recording this live on the YouTube channel and on LinkedIn and then the Facebook Copy Co-op group. So I know a lot of people who listen to the podcast, but if you are catching this live, feel free to say hi and ask any questions as we go along here too. We always welcome, live questions. But Dan, you touched briefly about how you came up with the idea, but what specifically, started it? Did a client come up to you and be like, hey, can you do this for me? And then it just like the light bulb went off?
Gosh, Terry, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. We started doing this, I'd say probably about a year and a half ago, kind of casually. And yeah, it was either, one of those situations where, with some of the PR stuff we were doing for clients, I think somebody might have said, hey, what about podcasts, right? Can you get me some exposure on those? And then either that or I pitched it to a client and they said, wow, this is great. Let's run with it. And so kind of from the little bit of the work we did in that space in the past, we saw some really good traction for clients, and it was just kind of a really fun service. So that's kind of what sparked the idea to really push it further to that next level for us.
Okay. And what were some of like we touched on in the beginning, the minimal viable like actions that you could take, right, to get this thing launched?
Yeah. So I think for anybody that's kind of interested in testing out a new idea, it's, what can you do? The least amount of effort to really determine what the result's going to be before you go all in and invest in heavily into the marketing and everything else, right? Because you don't want to build this $10,000 website and all this stuff and then nobody ever buys it or wants it, right? That's every entrepreneur's worst nightmare, right?
Yeah,
it's cool.
Exactly.
Because not only did you just waste all this time, but it was expensive, right? It was an expensive fail. So every time we test out a new thing like this, it's okay, well, what can we do to see if it's going to gain traction first? So my first kind of tip for this is figure out what your acquisition channel is going to be, right? What are you going to start with? For me and for this podcast service, it was cold outreach, right? With LinkedIn and email. So that was kind of our channel for getting feedback and pitching this thing. And then the next thing is, once you've kind of got your channel, you need to figure out, okay, well, what can I put together to show people this is kind of our presentation, right? This is what we're offering. This is what we want to do for you. And so I think a lot of people right off the bat go out and build a website. And again, that's kind of, if you don't have any validation, that can be kind of a lot of work up front with potentially no payoff, right? So I always recommend put together a little pitch deck, right? Get in Canva, create a couple slides of, this is what it is. This is who it's for. This is what it costs. Just give them that info, right? And then if you can start pitching through that acquisition channel with a pitch deck and gaining traction, then you can decide whether or not it makes sense to go to that next step and invest more money into the marketing side, right?
Yeah, like building out like a full out website as well. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and I will go ahead and share that screen or share the screen here of your website here. So you're calling it the Marzullo Agency here. So here's the top of it. Get interviewed on top podcasts. So if we break this down from a copywriting, Dan and I joked about it. I was like, dude, your website is great because your headline doesn't start with like a we or I statement. And Dan jokes is like, how yes, it passed the Terry copy test.
Right. We didn't put the wheeze in
like,
there.
yeah, but I mean, like I guess was this headline come easy to you? I guess I'll just ask right away.
To me?
Yeah.
Like, oh, did it come easy to come up with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to say, okay, you know what, in the least amount of words possible, how do you tell someone what it is that you're doing, right? So it's not fancy. It's not like, oh my God, that copy just blew my mind because it was so creative. It's no, here's what you're going to get out of this. Do you like it? Yes. If not, click out of the website, right?
Yeah, it's great. So again, to just to repeat what the headline is to anybody who's not watching this live and listening on the podcast, it's Get Interviewed on Top Podcast. So you kind of understand, your market, your target audience, what they're looking to achieve, what's in it for them. This is it. And it's like, grow your business, sell more books, become an industry thought leader, which I think is great. And then your call to action buttons, you have a learn more with the button down, obviously to learn more about what you do. And then the get started here, you click that. And then it's basically then just to go ahead and fill out a form. What package are you interested in? How we can help you. I think it's just super smart. And then you have some, as we go back, as seen in entrepreneur, CBS founder, I think that's smart to just build some social proof. And then you go into what we do, the boost book sales, win new business, build your brand. Dan, I'm curious, did a lot of clients, were they looking to get on podcasts really to sell their book? Because I feel like I think it's a more specific angle there too. Because sometimes people just want to get their brand in front of more people. But, I think the book is obviously a big part of it for other products.
Right. No, that's a great question, Terry. So for this particular service, we go after nonfiction business authors. That's kind of our in. But with that said, most of the times, the new clients that we talk to for this service, it's not, the ultimate goal isn't, hey, I want to sell, 800,000 books. It's no, I wrote this book as kind of a lead magnet for my higher ticket services and the things I do as a business professional, right? So usually the book is just kind of the conversation starter. So their ultimate goal with these podcasts is, sure, sell some more books, right? Drive some traction to the Amazon page, but it's more on, let's build new relationships and try to sell the services that we actually offer with our business. So that's kind of the angle that we focused on with this landing page here.
I love it. Yeah, and then you have your how it works. So it's just people curious. If you go to the Marzullo agency, you can learn a little bit more about, the service that you guys are offering now. Like you get to know your audience, the speaker sheet, research and outreach, and then you just reach out to Top Podcast. Like you put together like a mini pitch deck for these people to get on the podcast, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we've got a couple what we call booking agents on our team, and they research the right shows that make sense for that particular guest, right? Depending on what industry they're in, and then we reach out and pitch those hosts. And then when they come back and say, "Oh yeah, Terry would be a great fit for the show," we make that introduction and get them scheduled as a guest on there.
Yeah, awesome. And then you have testimonials here. The podcast interviews helped promote my new book and even led to a speaking engagement at a large summit conference. So I think like those early on like testimonials and just hearing how it worked, obviously you mentioned just turned it into, this can work. Let's turn this into something. Dan, I'm curious, what did you use to build the website? Because I think that's the popular question too, of just like, what's next? If I want to turn this into a website, what's a quick way, affordable way that, I can do that?
Yeah, I just used Webflow. So this is just a simple template from Webflow. I didn't, pay for a fancy custom build. I mean, I think down the road, once this is really proved out, then we might go that route. But for now, it was, let's get something out there that looks professional, that's going to get the info out that we need. So I would always recommend Webflow. It's super, it just looks good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, this looks great.
Thanks.
Like when you showed it to me, man, I was like, dude, this is great. Great job. So yeah, Webflow, I recommend that too. Webflow, Squarespace, Card.io too is a simple one, but those are like three ones that are pretty affordable that give you a lot of stuff that you can do with it. So yeah, Dan, this is great. The Marzullo agency, get interviewed on Top Podcast. Anything else you want to talk about just from the launching standpoint? We talked a little bit about it, but I guess just getting it ready, what was the time frame like? Because it seemed like you launched this website pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I would say, my next piece of advice here is once you've got your outreach channel and you've got a little deck or something that you can show people, you got to kind of figure out your goals, right? Okay, well, what do I need in terms of sales? What do I need to make this thing work, right? To combat the expenses for it of the business, right? your income goals. So set kind of a number, and it doesn't have to be crazy high, right? You can start small and be kind of realistic with it and then watch it build. So for me, I would say I really started, pitching this and just really aggressively selling this service probably May 1st, I believe, just beginning of May. And then May and June had really good months with it. And we hit those goals that I was looking for with this. So that's when I decided, okay, July, we're going to kind of take some time to actually build out the site and get it up there. So got the site together in about a week. And then we're just kind of continuing from there. So we're going to hope to continue to grow this and kind of see those numbers increase, right? That's always the goal. So
yeah, no, absolutely. But I think this is great. I think it just gives people like a crash course on how to turn your idea into a business where, this was a service that you offered, people were asking you for it, or could you help with this? And then you said, yeah, let's look into that. You have people on your team that could do it. And then you created a pitch deck, like you said, through Canva, did cold outreach, like this is what we can do. Got people, got testimonials. And then it's like, yeah, this makes sense to turn this into a website and figure out all the other, meat and potatoes of it, of pricing and everything else. So,
right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Terry. Yeah. I think it's important with this kind of stuff when you're testing something new, you got to move fast, because if it doesn't work, you need to be able to pivot fast, right, to get to where you want to go. So the longer time you take and you realize you don't get the feedback you need and it doesn't reach the goals you have, you're just kind of delaying yourself. So you want to be, I think speed is super important when you're testing something new.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting too, because you did launch another business a couple months ago, if with a couple in the podcast realm too.
Exactly.
And it kind of helped you pivot more into like, let me focus on this because this has been a more successful route for you.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Terry. I tried testing out another little niche service in this space, ran with it for, 3-4 months, and then it just was not getting to where I wanted it. So I just said, all right, this isn't working. Let's try something new. And then, but if I would have taken a year to build out the website, do all this content marketing, and then found out, okay, nobody's, or not enough people are buying this, then that would have been not good for me. Right.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick, I want to wrap it up from a copywriting standpoint. I think if everybody does check out MarzulloAgency.com, this is just a really good template as well for writing your website, where you start off with like this clear headline of like what's in it for the reader. And then you break down about like what else you can do for them, like grow your business, sell more books, become an industry thought leader. This is what we do. Then you have testimonials here or social proof, which is great. Then you get into the solution side of it. So what we do, what are the features here? And like here, it's win new business, build your brand, boost book sales. Like he keeps it benefit focused as well. Like the demand your book deserves. And then he can break down about like how he does that. So we use podcasts as creative marketing channels. It's just a good example here, guys. It's really easy to read. How it works too is broken down well. And then he's got testimonials, more success stories, and then how to get on a call, like one final call to action. So again, check that out as just like a good template of kind of how to structure a website if any of you struggle with that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but all right, dude. Well, I thought this was a good topic to cover. I think this could be really helpful for a lot of people and maybe motivating to whatever idea you have to start testing it and do some cold outreach if necessary. Figure out that marketing channel, build a website, and turn that idea into a reality. I think this is a good example of it. Yeah.
If anybody has questions or is going down this path, we'd love to hear about them as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Dan, appreciate it. You sharing this, your success story, if you will, with everybody. But yeah, guys, that's our episode today. We hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did find it useful, share it with anybody else that you think, may find it useful as well. The podcast, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, rate and review. We love the support that we're getting with it lately. Our plays are getting up. We're really enjoying putting this podcast out, I think more than ever. So we appreciate all the support.
Absolutely. Looking forward to chatting with you again next week, Terry.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. But everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Copy Corner. Peace.